It is, of course, morphing time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, Glasgow, give a massive round of applause to our Power Rangers guests. We have Steve Cardenas, who plays Rocky. We have Catherine Sutherland, who plays Catherine Cat Hillard, and Nakia Burrise, who plays Tanya. Well, he's even doing his stunts already, look.
Okay, just wake me up when it's over, guys. Thanks. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm fine. I'll sit up.
You look like you're getting comfortable over there.
It was kind of comfortable, actually.
It's kind of nice and it's kind of the nice.
Oh, put this in my living room.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? That was sad.
Couldn't do better than that.
What time is it?
It's morphin' time.
That wasn't good either. Let's try that again. What time is it?
It's time to go get some coffee and.
They need more coffee.
No Zords would appear if they did that in real life. No, we're gone. No, sorry, Roger. So, thank you very much for joining us in Glasgow. Thank you for all travelling to be here with us. Now, Power Rangers is still as iconic now as it's ever been. It continually keeps evolving thanks to like Boom Studios comics and everything. So, taking a trip back, how did you all get involved in the show? And at the time when you got your roles, were you aware of how big it was and what you were getting into? Did you have to do any research for it?
Well, I was very aware of the show because I was a martial artist ever since I was a young kid. It's kind of how I got the part because when they were holding auditions, they were looking for people that knew how to do martial arts and gymnastics. I was not any kind of an actor of any sort. I had never done any acting of any kind. So they were straight up looking for martial artists. So when I went and tried out, that's kind of how it happened for me. And then the acting came as like an on-the-job thing. But I was very familiar with the show because anything back then in the 90s that was martial arts on television, I watched it. So if there was Chuck Norris, movie, or if there was a Bruce Lee movie, or any kind of kung fu movie out, or Jean-Claude Van Damme, I watched them all, and I was obsessed. So I was very familiar with Power Rangers, and so when I heard about the audition, I said, well, I'll just go and give it a shot. So I knew the show was popular, but I didn't know in what capacity I was going to be on the show. I just thought they were adding some cast members or something like that. I didn't know that I was going to be like replacing the original Red Ranger, and so that part was kind of a little bit nerve-wracking for me. It's like some big boots to fill for sure. But it was quite a unique experience. I don't know, your guys' audition process were probably longer than mine. Mine took place over 4 days. That was it.
Yeah. No, so they'd filmed the first movie, which Steve was in Australia.
Right, in Sydney.
And when Amy Jo decided she wanted to leave the show, they were casting in America, and I believe Canada too. And then they decided to come to Australia. And so I didn't know what Power Rangers was. It wasn't even showing in Australia at the time. It was just a kids show that I was auditioning for, and I did a scene, and then I had to do a martial arts routine. And I was a dancer, I was not a martial artist, so let's hope that doesn't surface. and then I met the producer, so I had 3 auditions. And like Steve, I didn't know I was replacing anybody. I just thought I was an addition to a cast of a show that was already airing. So I didn't actually find out until I even got on the show that I was replacing Amy. So it was a little nerve-wracking for me as well.
I guess mine was the longest auditioning process then, because I had 5 auditions. I was in college at the time. I wasn't aware of what Power Rangers was. I didn't know that I was replacing anybody. I think they just kept that hush-hush for anybody that was replacing anybody. I just know that they told me that I needed to wear yellow. So I wore yellow. I did a monologue. I did not have to do martial arts. They did ask if I I was a dancer as well, and I learned, different fight techniques being on the show. But I had the first audition, it was probably a couple of hundred. I got a call back, it was down to probably about 40 or so. Then I got a 3rd call back, it was down to 7. Then I got a 4th call back, it was a screen test, and that's when I met Blondie here. My screen test was with Kat. And then I had a final interview where it was down to 2 of us, and then I ended up blessing for the role. But no, I wasn't familiar with Power Rangers when I auditioned, but I'm very grateful to be on the show, to have been on the show.
And if you're coming into a franchise and you're not aware of it, how quickly did you have to go and do any research about it once you got the role? And then how quickly did you become aware of how popular it was? Because in the late 90s and even now, it was phenomenally popular, is one way to describe it. How quickly did you become aware of how popular it was for you two?
For me, it was at the premiere of the movie, because when I came on the show, they were doing a press tour for the movie, so I didn't meet them until I'd been here in the country for like 3 weeks. So I went to the premiere, and when we stepped out of the limousine, it was just like, they were like rock stars. Everyone was going crazy, and I went, this
Well, what
is
was
a kids
interesting
show, that's
about
crazy.
that was that like a lot of famous people were coming to the premiere of the movie because they were bringing their kids, you know. So because like, you know, so there was a lot of interesting people that were at the premiere. So I was like, these guys are all, I've watched these guys forever, and now they're coming to see me. So
And they had that
cool.
huge carnival after the movie.
Right.
Yeah, it was really cool. So it was kind of a shock for me. It's like, this is a children's show, you know?
I don't know if I knew the capacity until actually after leaving the show and I started doing Comic Cons. Because when we did the Turbo movie, obviously it wasn't as big as the first movie. We did have a red carpet event, but it sounds like the first movie it was like over the top and grandeur and everything. It wasn't until I started doing Comic Cons that I realized how popular, really popular Power Rangers is, and still is today. Having fans come to the table and tell me how Power Rangers has changed their life and how it helped them in school with bullying and getting into martial arts and the life lessons that they've learned, which has been just an extraordinary blessing.
Yeah, I think with Comic Cons kind of all starting around the same time that social media started beginning big too, you know, mid 2007, 2000, you know, or probably around that time is when, you know, Facebook started to emerge and MySpace, and then later on Instagram and stuff. And before that, there was never really a way for us to connect with the fans. When we were on the show, there wasn't even internet back then. You know what I mean?
We used to get
Like, that's how long
minutes.
ago it was, folks. There wasn't even internet really. So there was, and everybody was 5 or 6 years old. There was no connection with you guys. Now that you're all grown up, and we have this way of meeting one another, and we have social media to communicate with each other on. We have really been able to embrace our fans in a way that we've never had the chance to be before. You know, we were always very isolated from our fans. I mean, the most we would ever get would be fan mail, which would be snail mail, you know, the regular letters that kids would write us. And that was pretty much the only correspondence that we had. But yeah, so we didn't really know, you know, that there was so much of a fandom, and still so much of a fandom to this day. Still, we started doing cons. Yeah, so yeah, you're right about that for sure.
And a lot of shows now only run for kind of like 12 episodes, some at max out at 24, but Power Rangers has always had an insane level of episodes per season. What was that like to kind of film, or what was your kind of daily schedule like for that? 'Cause it must have been exhausting.
Yeah, we never got a break. There was no hiatus for us. It was continual. It's like soap operas. Do they have soap operas here?
Oh yeah.
At Brookside and
All right. Well, those come on every day, right? I mean, those are the show, that's how our show was too. Back then, it aired every single day, and so we were constantly having to crank out episodes. We never got a break.
We did about 10 episodes, excuse me. We did 3 episodes in 10 days. My first season was we did 50 episodes per season. I didn't know any different because it was the first television series that I had ever done. I was just blessed to work because I was, again, I was in college at the time, and I was still going to school while I was on Power Rangers. I don't know how God got me through, but I did. I graduated and everything. But yeah, we were filming from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
filming, and then we'd have to go and do ADR, which was all the voiceover work for the helmets. When we have our helmets on, we had to go and do voiceover work for that. So yeah, it's crazy.
But how did you manage to keep your energy going then? Because it must be, because it's kind of an intense role that every episode has to be. So you've got to keep that same energy level all throughout every single 50 episodes you do. How did you manage to keep that same energy level constant?
20 years old. Babies.
Well,
all the energy in the
we
world.
were young. And the money, I mean, they were paying us like, you know, $600 a week or something. I was kidding. No, I think it's just like anything else. Like, you can get used to it. I mean, you know, think about people that work, laying, streets all day or building homes all day or whatever. it just is. It becomes your job, and you just get used to it, you know. So you get used to anything, and it's not like the conditions were horrible. Oh God, we have to be on TV all day in front of the camera. Oh, this is so awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, we were filming a television show. It was like I was in film and television at UCLA, and so to be able to be blessed with work before I graduated, I was like, woo! I'm over the moon. Thank you.
And Nakia, how did your kind of college mates react? Because there you are, you're being a student when you can, and you're also on a hit television series. How did they kind of react to that? Your college mates react?
They were very supportive, very proud to have a Power Ranger friend. I remember at my graduation, they actually announced that when I was walking across the stage. Nakia Burrise, the Yellow Power Ranger. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, but it was very nice. Yeah.
But did you not wear yellow robes or anything, or any yellow on you during your graduation at all?
Yellow at my graduation?
Yeah, in any form?
No yellow. Because as you know, on the show, we had to wear the colors that we were. So I was yellowed out. Yellow berets, yellow hairbands, yellow shoes, yellow. I still have yellow snakeskin pants that cannot fit on my body, but I still have them. Everything was yellow. So no, for graduation, there was no yellow for me.
And after, I mean, it may sound like an odd question, but after the show is finished, were you like, I said, I'm all yellowed out, I'm all pinked out, I'm all redded out? Did you avoid any of those kind of colour clothing for a while?
I didn't wear pink for years. I like it now, but...
And they always gave me the sleeveless plaid shirts, you know? And it was funny because when I did the Super Ninja Steel reunion episode, the one that came out in like last year or whatever, they put me in the same lumberjack outfit again. I'm like, come on. Everybody else looks modern, and they put me basically in like 90s plaid clothes again. I'm like, just because I was on the show in the 90s, it's modern now, it's all
90s
present day.
back.
You can give me some more fashionable stuff to wear.
Back.
No, it
90s
wasn't
is
back.
totally back. Tyler's back.
It wasn't
Look,
back.
some plaid going on here.
No, he looks great in the plaid, but I'm telling you, like, I did not. Everyone else had like really like the skinny jeans, and I had like, you know, I had the big combat boots and the big baggy pants and the big lumberjack or whatever. Anyway, my point being, you know, they could have been a little bit more creative. They had the budget to put me in a better outfit.
Actually spoken to each other in that episode too. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. We worked together on what, 100 episodes, and we in that episode we never spoke to each other the whole
we'd
time.
like,
Man.
oh, it's good to see you, Rocky. No.
Yeah, nothing.
How many of you saw that anniversary episode, 25-year anniversary? 2, 3, can I get a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay. About
You
10
didn't.
people.
You didn't miss much. It was fun to go back on the show, but all the cool stuff, they cut it all out. All the cool stuff that we did is all cut out. So.
Such as?
Huh?
Such as? You sent in cool stuff that you cut out. Is there anything you can tell us about?
I mean, I don't remember. There was a lot of stuff that we did that wasn't. There was like, yeah, some fight scenes and things like that were all cut out and whatnot. So.
Well, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. So you can
Is
go
it on
see it now.
Netflix?
It is on
the
Netflix.
reunion episode? Enjoy it. If you have 22 minutes that you don't mind never getting back, go ahead and watch it. No, I'm just kidding. It was fun. I enjoyed it, of course.
Okay, well, we're going to open the questions out to you. So if you'd like to ask questions, stick your hand up. And I can already see one person's hand went up really, really quickly here.
Red Ranger's got a question right there.
Hi there. I've got 2 questions. First of all, R.I.P. Robert Axelford.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. Robert Axelrod. Lord Zed. Yeah.
Yeah, when I heard that news, I was crushed.
Yeah, cheers for that. Thanks, mate.
Second question, if you could be any other Power Ranger with any Zord, who would you be?
Wait, what? I couldn't hear what.
What Zord would we be?
If you could
And
be
choose any?
If you could be any other Power Ranger and have any other Zord, what would it be and why?
I think I'd want to be the White Ranger.
I think I'd want to be the Red Ranger, manning the Red Dragon Thunderzord. I think that'd be. Oh wait, that was.
That was you.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, how can you top that one unless you're the Green Ranger? No, that's the only other one that
White
would
Ranger
probably.
was cool.
White
the
Ranger.
Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was
I don't know. I could be the pink Zeo Ranger.
You
That would be a lot.
Yeah. I'd be the yellow Zeo Ranger.
Oh yeah, that was you.
Thank you for the question.
It's not fair. We didn't really answer his question,
No,
though. We were
you
just
didn't.
being kind of sarcastic. But no, you know what? Actually, what series I like outside of the series that I was on? I like Time Force, actually, and we're actually really good friends with all that cast from Time Force. They're a lot of fun, and we do a lot of conventions together, and they're a riot. So I like their season, and I like their concept of the time travel and stuff. So that was pretty cool. That would probably be one of the series that I would like to be a part of if I could have been. Good question. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
And we're off over here.
Okay.
Question from a young man.
How does it feel to be a Power Ranger?
Accent is so cute. Say it again.
How does it feel to be a Power Ranger?
That accent.
It's great.
Great.
Fantastic. Oh, I liked it. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's an honor to be part of to be a superhero. It's fun to be able to beat up bad guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Anybody
a
want a
blessing.
demonstration?
It's a blessing to be a part of such a large franchise that's remembered and it continues to go on. It's once you're in the Power Ranger family, you're always in the Power Ranger family. And once a Ranger, always a Ranger. Once a superhero, always a superhero.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, cutie.
Thanks, mate.
And there's been, we kind of got hints of it in the 25th anniversary episode about what the other Power Rangers may have been doing now. If they did a spin-off series, where would you like to see each of your characters be in their current lives now?
I think Rocky followed the footsteps of Rocky Balboa and became a loan shark, leg breaker, collect money from people that couldn't pay their gambling debts. I think, that's, you gotta have muscle behind that if you're gonna be a loan shark, Just kidding, I don't know.
You guys are so quiet.
I know,
I
right?
I see a couple
because
of
they're
smiles.
soaking it all in. They're in, you know what I mean?
Is that what's happening?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna have a little music as he walks.
So there has been rumors about like a new reboot of
Oh, that's
like,
a
the
cool
Power-
Pink Ranger shirt you're rocking, dude. Stand up,
Thank
let
you.
everybody take a look at that. Look at that, that's cool. It's got a big old giant pink helmet on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo, we got some claps.
Thanks, anyway, go ahead.
When they did the rebooted Power Ranger movie and the original Pink Ranger and the White Ranger had a cameo at the end, if you were approached, would you do something like that for like a reboot?
Absolutely.
Of course, yeah. I've always told them I'll do any return to or cameos in Power Rangers for the fans, and I even told them I'd do it for free. I don't even care about the money, So we just do it to give back because you guys are always coming out and supporting us all the time. I mean, look at this. We've traveled like 6,000 miles to come see you guys, and you guys are all out here, man. We really appreciate that. So
Yes, very
thank you
much
guys so much. You can give yourselves a hand as well.
Like a loud hand, like a woo!
Yes, we love you.
There we
Thank you.
go.
That's awesome.
We have another question here.
Hi Steve, were you bummed when you didn't get asked to do the Forever Red episode?
Well, yeah, I mean, I still to this day, it's a mystery because they had called me and asked me if I wanted to be part of the reunion episode. And I said, absolutely, no problem. And then they shot it without me, and I don't know what happened. There's no explanation, and nobody seems to know why, or, yeah, I have no idea. But I did get invited, but then when it came time to film, they didn't make any arrangements with me or call me back or any travel arrangements or anything. I don't know what happened. Next thing you know, that episode aired, I wasn't part of it. And I don't know. And to this day, none of the other cast members, nobody even bothered to be like, hey, where's Steve? Nobody said anything. I have no idea.
I have a question in the middle.
Have you kept anything cool from Power Rangers any season?
I'm sorry.
Did you keep anything from the set? Did you take anything with you?
Yeah, it's really loud back here. So. No, I have a pink beret. And I do have my communicator. But that was it.
Oh, I have loads of stuff. I have the helmet. If you guys go to our table after this, you come say hi to us. The helmet that's sitting on the table, that's an actual screen-used helmet. You guys can look at it. Can't pick it up or anything, but you can definitely see it.
Not
So,
from the reason.
yeah. Right.
Use
Yeah.
them. Interesting. Yeah, they did use them.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I filmed Turbo and I was a radio disc jockey, I actually just mentioned I had yellow snakeskin pants. If you go back to one of the episodes, I can't remember what the episode was, but it was with the monkeys. Does anybody remember Turbo? Tanya is the dicks. Okay, some heads nodding. Well, I had some yellow snakeskin pants. I have those at home. I have my communicator. I probably, I found a box of things that I had. When we had done the movie, there was a telephone book. Do you guys have do you remember telephone books? Yeah. There was a telephone book, and we were on the cover. The cast was on the cover, so I have the telephone book from the 90s. Yeah. And then I have I think I have my old action figure where I have a little head and a really big body, and I look like a man. Yep, have that too. Good question, thank you.
I still cracking up. Do you remember telephone books?
That's how old we
I
are
mean,
now.
it kind of is a fair question because they don't really have them anymore. I guess you're right, but I don't think the audience is that young. They don't remember telephone
I
books.
showed my kids a video, and they were like, "Oh gosh, how long is this going to take to get back to the beginning?" They're so used to with DVDs, you just press play, and there's no like waiting for something to rewind.
Oh, you mean you were showing them a VHS?
VHS.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, you don't see video?
Well, it's a video. That's what VHS is. The little square tape.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
cassette tape.
Yeah,
thing.
that's
They
what we
had
call
to
a
wait for it
VHS tape.
to rewind back,
Right.
There's no, everything's so instant now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have another question here.
Hi, just want to ask each of you, of all the storylines you filmed, which was your favourite?
To film? Or?
Yeah, just your favourite storyline that you were
favourite
involved with.
Yeah, my favorite actually was Zio. I like Zio. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, you were there for part of Mighty Morphin. It was different. Zio was more fun. Like they seemed like they gave our characters a little more personality. I don't know.
Kind of updated things in Zio too. We got a
They
new
made
command.
the command center look better, and they
Yeah.
changed the sets a little bit. But I think like our characters had a little more personality too.
They kind of, my favorite was probably Zio too, because that's where I didn't have to share my role with anyone else.
Yeah.
And then I had a few favorite storylines. I loved, there was an episode in Turbo called Wait and See, where Kat was struggling with her self-esteem. I really liked that message for little girls, just to be true to who you are, and looks are not everything. And then I loved my storyline for when I first came on the show and I was evil. I was trying to destroy the Rangers.
Fun
That
too.
was
If
really
you get
fun.
to be evil first,
Yeah, it was fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And Zio, they did a lot of creative stuff. I remember they painted my whole body green and then stuck twigs out of my ears and essentially made me look like I was turning into a plant.
Yes.
And then I think I was hitting on you like
Told me I had nice standards or something.
Yeah, I don't know. They a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. There was one where Nakia had to sing the whole time, the whole episode.
Another song and dance.
Yeah,
With
right.
Jason. We were struck with the bug. The singing bug. Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Even
Also,
when the cameras were off, we were still singing.
Yeah, there was another one where Nakia was on the baseball team, and I was on the team with her, and I made the winning catch. Thank you very much. It was an episode about her, but I made the winning catch, so thank you.
I loved Zio because I felt like, well, obviously that was when I came onto the show. I came in the last episode of Mighty Morphin, but then I felt like the producers really cared about my character. So some of the episodes kind of were based on me as a person. I remember them asking me questions about what are some of the activities I like to do. Baseball was one of them. I used to play baseball with the boys. I was second base, shortstop, and pitcher, and so they made the Rangers in the Outfield episode. They heard me singing, so they ended up doing another song
so
and
they
dance.
based a lot of weird character off of just how you really were.
Yeah, my own life. Yeah.
Solid.
That's cool. And if you now could create a Rangers series of your own, because we've had so many different, we've had Ninja Steel, we've had dinosaurs, we've had based on any era you can think of. If you could create your own show, have your own kind of cast, what would you do? What swords would you use, and what kind of theme would you have as your basis for your own series?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what Zords we'd use or anything, but I think a concept that they should have is they should have a Power Rangers Civil War for sure. They should pit us against each other. You
That
know,
would be
and we
pretty
both
awesome.
think we're right. Both sides think we're right, and we have a battle. That would be pretty sweet, I think.
Actually made
I
a
think that's the only way to
t-shirt
go.
called that,
Yeah,
Rangers
yeah, you have
Infinity
one of
War
those, right?
at my table. I love that idea. I would have probably an all-girls team because I just think that it's necessary at some point. I don't know about the Zords either, but it would be really cool to see an all-female team once.
Yeah, like Glow, like the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. But it'd be like Grow, the gorgeous rangers of, I don't know. I don't know, yeah.
And
I gotta be pretty good. I go see that one. I'd watch that episode.
And crossover is a big thing on TV at the moment. Those are just crossover with everything else. If you could if you did your own Power Ranger show, what would you cross it over with? You could, I suppose, have. Sorry.
Avengers.
Oh, you mean crossover with like not Power Rangers? Crossover with anybody?
Anybody. Oh
Like
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
What?
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that could get really interesting.
It's all right, but I like Superman myself, so I'm not necessarily a DC guy over Marvel or anything like that. But I just love Superman. Superman's always been my favorite, like ever since I was a little kid. So. You know.
I was Wonder Woman when I was little, so I would love to be on Wonder Woman. I used to wear my underoos. Did you guys have that out here? Underoos?
Yeah.
Yes. Underoos were.
They were like pants. They were
panties.
pants.
They were.
Well, they call them
undergarments.
pants here. They call them pants here.
Oh, pants. They
Pants.
were undergarments that you could
Yeah.
wear, but they were like superhero.
Yeah.
You could be the Hulk. You could be Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And my whip was actually my belt that I would swing around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be great. I'd be, Wonder Woman.
Good question.
And we have another question from a person here.
So, what was the weirdest storyline you ever had to film?
So many. 'Cause, they used the Sentai footage, so we'd have the monsters from the Sentai footage and they'd have to work the story into that. So I remember one of them that I thought was really strange was Kat was doing a sewing class and she sewed a purse and it turned into a monster. I was like, how did they think? It was the weirdest looking thing. Yeah, they would always come up with these really crazy. You had a pachinko.
Well, there was tons of different ones. Yeah, I mean, like, there's no rhyme or reason to the monsters that were in the episodes, but the writers were limited based on whatever footage they had, and so I have to hand it to them. They're creative. They can find a way to tie it together, but some of it was pretty outlandish, that's for sure. But it was cool because it added to the campiness of the show, and that was part of what part of the charm of Power Rangers, I guess, in a sense, which is why people still like it so much. But it was definitely weird,
And question for young man here.
It's a real honor to meet you, Power Rangers, but I've been thinking, would you like to do a crossover of Gundam?
Of Gundam, you said?
Yes.
Like, because the Gundam, those are the Transformer robots, right? Like
It's basically like that.
Yeah.
No Gundam.
So, what
Gundam is like, they're like Megazords, but I don't know. But it's not like Voltron exactly, but yeah, it's another Japanese series. Yeah, another Japanese, but that one's anime though. That's not live action, right?
No, I think there's been the odd live action, but not that many.
Oh. Yeah.
And if you actually...
We could try whooping them Gundam style. Whooping Gundam style.
Have you ever met any of your Japanese counterparts as well? Because you mentioned using Super Sentai footage.
We have met them now.
They're adorable.
They're adorable.
They're adorable. I mean, she's Reiko.
Reiko, yeah. She's lovely.
And she looks exactly the same as she did. She played May in the original. So,
Yeah.
what was it called? Zoo Ranger?
Zhu Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger.
ZYU
Yes.
Ranger.
She
Yeah.
looks the same. She was 16 when she was on the show, and she still looks the same.
Pretty crazy.
And we got time for one last question with our friend here.
Ooh, make it a good one, guys. You got one last one. Make it count.
Would you ever like to see an episode where the bad guys actually win?
Whatever. Yeah, well, I mean, it would be cool because, well, maybe as a to be continued kind of episode, the bad guys win or something. I mean, ultimately, the bad guys can't win. it's a morality tale. You can't. But it would be cool to have some, you know, some like a cliffhanger, you know, so to speak, you know.
Those cliffhangers, yeah, like the metallic armor episode when they had the master vial.
You
and
remember
turned
more
back
than I do.
time.
Sorry.
I've gone back and watched because
You've gone
you
back and
guys
watched.
ask us questions and I go, they say, do you remember in this episode? And I don't remember, so I go back and watch it so that I can answer the question correctly.
Yeah.
Like morphing and all of that. I made a mess, absolute mess of morphing.
Don't make it a mess.
All the morphing sequences and
Yeah,
stuff?
so many to remember.
I think that our fans wouldn't be happy though if the Power Rangers lost. Like I don't know. I remember at the end of Game of Thrones, like people didn't like the ending of that, the way that it ended. And I remember seeing a lot of social media where people were just like torn apart, throwing things at the television, like it was, you know.
I mean, yeah. Well, like think about how did y'all feel like the end of Infinity War? You know what I mean? Like, definitely left feeling a little unsatisfied. You know. All you see all your favorite people turn into dust. Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably liken it to that. I don't know.
Well, that is all the time we have for our
guys. Thank you
today, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
But if you guys want, you guys can come to our table, hang out with us. If you got more questions, and you were too shy to ask in the big crowd, come say hi in person.
Don't feel like you can't come and talk to us. We love to talk to you and answer your questions. So please come and. Yeah.
And Kat has all kinds of stuff on her table for sale as well too.
I have toys.
Cool
and
stuff.
all fun stuff.
So don't forget to visit them. They are in the autograph area, which is in the second hall just down from us. So please do pop along and visit our Power Rangers guests. And in the meantime, guys, give a massive round of applause.
Thank you, Glasgow.